Hey everyone, I'm Katie from Addicted to DIY, and today I'm partnering with my friends from DAP Products to show you how I built this custom barn door. Last year, we started remodeling our master bedroom, and during that time we walled off the master bathroom to add a doorway. The intent was to build a barn door, but time got away from us, and a year later, the project is finally complete. There are so many ways to build a barn door and different looks that you can go with for them, not to mention the custom sizing for your particular doorway. I chose a more traditional barn door look and built mine using tongue and groove joinery, which is a first for me on a large-scale project like this. It didn't always go perfectly, but I'm still super happy with how the door turned out. I'm using several amazing products from DAP, including Weldwood Original Wood Glue, their new Premium Wood Filler, and Alex Flex Premium Molding and Trim Sealant to complete this project. I built the door out of knotty alder and started off by cutting some 6/4 lumber down to size on my miter saw, then moving over to my table saw to rip a straight line on the sides. Once that was finished, I ripped the boards down to about 4 5/8 inch wide. These pieces will make up the rails and stiles of the door. Once all of my pieces were ripped down, I moved over to my joiner and finished off the edges to make sure they were completely flat and a width of 4.5 inches. For the panel of the door, I used 4/4 knotty alder and also needed to add a straight edge to all of these boards. I ripped down a piece of scrap plywood to use as a guide and screwed the boards down one by one to the plywood to rip the straight edge. I should also add that I planed them down to 3/4 inch thickness. Apparently, I forgot to film that step of the process. Once the boards had a straight edge on them, I flipped them over and ripped them down to width. I needed my panel to be about 30 inches wide and also had to take into account the tongue and groove joinery when planning out the widths. The boards were not consistent as it was kind of slim pickings that day at the hardwood store, so I planned out my cut so that the total amount would equal approximately 30 inches wide. With all of the boards ripped down, I moved over to my router table to route both sides of the boards with my tongue and groove router bit. With the boards routed, I began assembling the panel using wood glue in all of the joints to ensure the pieces stayed together. Once the panel was assembled, I grabbed some clamps and clamped it together to let it dry. It bowed a little bit, so I clamped it down to my workbench to hold it flat as well. The overall width of the panel was still just a little too narrow, so I grabbed what boards I had left to fill in the missing few inches. The boards were not long enough, so I made sure that the seam was right in the middle of the panel, since it would be covered later by trim boards. I clamped it all back down and let it dry for several hours. Once the panel was dry, I ran it through my drum sander to even it all out. I didn't have my tongue and groove bit set perfectly, so the boards were a bit uneven. I ended up having to sand it so much that it took the thickness down to 5/8 inch thick. So to save yourself some time and frustration, don't do what I did. Make sure your bit is set at the correct height, and you may be able to get away with just an orbital sander. Mistakes happen, but thankfully I was able to come up with a solution. Since my panel was now 5/8 inch thick, I had to order a 5/8 inch router bit to account for that. I fit this bit into my router table and then started routing the grooves for the rails and stiles. The grooves are going to be 1 inch deep, and you can't take out that much material at a time without risk of burning the wood or worse, breaking the bit. I took it 1/4 inch at a time, routing each piece at once, then adjusting the depth an additional 1/4 inch until I hit the 1 inch mark. Once the grooves were finished, I needed to cut the tenons on the rails. With the grooves now being 5/8 inch wide instead of 3/4 inch, I had to redo all of my math and figure out the blade height and fence depth for everything. But it all worked out pretty well in the end. With the tenons complete, I moved on to sizing the panel down, starting by squaring up the ends on my table saw using my crosscut table. I then ripped a little off each side to come up with my width of just under 30 inches. 29 7/8 to be exact. I wanted to give myself a little bit of wiggle room. Once everything was ready to go, I did a dry fit of the entire door to make sure it all went together according to plan. I breathed a sigh of relief when everything fit, then took it apart to start the glue up. I added glue to all of the grooves on the rails and stiles, then began the assembly process, using a rubber mallet as a bit of persuasion. I used bar clamps to hold everything in place and also ensure that my corners were square. I'm not gonna lie, I did a bit of a mental happy dance when every corner was square and my ends were all flush. It felt like the first time something had gone right in this whole process. I let the glue cure and then started working on the trim pieces that would go on both sides of the door. I grabbed what little bit I had left in my stash of alder and got to work prepping it for milling. I've had some of this wood for quite a while, and when that happens, the wood seems to build up a lot of tension, and not the kind that can be worked out with a massage. Some of it jammed up in my table saw, so I had to cut away the waste with my jigsaw and then run it through again. It's definitely my least favorite thing when this happens because you just never know how the wood will react. I've actually had reverse tension in the wood, so rather than binding up, it spread apart and completely split on me when I was ripping it down on my saw. I also ripped down some 8/4 boards to make more of the trim pieces, then set up my bandsaw to resaw all of them to be about 7/16 inch thick. Once the boards were resawn, I ran them through the planer to get them to an even and equal thickness of about 7/16 inch to fit flush inside the frame of the door. For the trim board going straight across, I cut it to size, did some math on my handy fractions calculator app to find the center, then glued and nailed it into place. For the angled trim boards, I set them in place and made marks with my pencil where the board would meet the rails. I flipped the trim board over and used my speed square to draw a line between the marks, then found the angle and cut the boards on my miter saw. Once the boards were cut, I glued and nailed them into place with 3/4 inch pin nails. I flipped the whole door over and did the same thing to the other side, making sure that my angled trim boards went in the same direction as those on the opposite side. I had quite a few screw holes to fill in the panel boards after ripping a straight line on them using my rudimentary jig, so I used DAP's new premium wood filler to fill the holes. The wood filler has chameleon technology that allows you to mix it with stain to better match wood tones. I mixed it with my stain, which was golden oak. It's important to note that it will not completely transform into the stain color. It will be lighter when you mix it, however, it will then accept the stain color better when you apply the stain. I filled all of my screw holes with a putty knife and let it dry for a few hours. I came back and sanded over it and the entire door with 220 grit sandpaper to prep for staining. I stained the entire door in golden oak and then let it dry before flipping it over to stain the other side. Once the stain was completely dry, I used 3 coats of wipe-on polyurethane and satin on each side of the door, sanding in between coats with 220 grit sandpaper. While all of that was happening, I also worked on getting the new doorway prepped for the new door. I installed a 1x6 pre-primed pine board as a header above the doorway trim. I had pre-marked all of the studs prior to this and used 2.5 inch wood screws to attach the header board in place, countersinking the screws a bit so I could fill them in later. The trim was not perfectly level and the header board was not perfectly straight, so I had a bit of a gap in between the two on one end of the doorway. I was fine with that since I could just fill it in later. pay no mind to my husband coming in to wash his hands, then realizing I was recording while he did that. I filled all of the screw holes and also feathered in the seam and gap in between the trim and the header board with wood filler, and then let it dry. I also caulked around the edges of the header board to fill in that seam between the board and the wall. Once the wood filler was dry, I used my orbital sander to sand everything smooth. I cannot stress enough the importance of hooking your sander up to a dust hose and a shop vacuum. You will absolutely regret it, and every square inch of space will be covered with dust if you don't. I got everything cleaned up and then started to paint. I added 2 coats of paint to the header board and trim where it had been sanded, then let it cure overnight. The next day, I installed the track and header, following the manufacturer's instructions with my barn door hardware, as well as installed the wheels to the finished door. My husband kindly carried the door into the house and hung it on the track for me, all while wondering why on earth we ever decided a solid door was a good idea. It was a little heavy. I installed the door hardware and then it was done. I need to route a groove in the bottom of the door for the floor stop to prevent the door from swinging, but I need to order a proper router bit for that first. In the meantime, I'm absolutely in love with how the door turned out and can't wait to finish the rest of the bedroom, likely in another year or so. Make sure you check out my description below to get all of the links for the hardware I used, as well as a detailed tutorial on my website. Again, a huge thanks to my friends from DAP Products for partnering with me on this project today. For more video tutorials just like this one, be sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell icon so that you'll be alerted when new videos are published. I've also queued up a few other videos that I think you might enjoy. Thanks so much for watching.